welcome to Bars and Bells. My name is Lauren.
And I'm Ian.
And this morning or anytime in the archive, we are here live with our bar edition. We had our bell class on Tuesday, and today we're at the bar. Though, you're right, we still have kettlebells in the background. We'll be alternating between some hip mobility and some overhead presses. So whether you have a kettlebell or a dumbbell, grab a weight. And let's get started with a foot warm-up, a core warm-up, and then we'll get into the meat and potatoes.
Great. So starting at the bottom, let's start with those feet in a parallel position. And with your hand on your balance aid or an open space, let's start rolling through the ankles at the balls of those feet first. Metatarsals, those balls of feet, press into the floor. Then, with permission on the arch, it might get a little crampy, point through the toe. Then go back to the ball of the foot and push hips through, hip extension, to return the heel to the ground. Other side, same thing. A ball of a foot, push the standing hip through, heavily press tension into those metatarsal heads, and then push your hip through, returning down. I forgot something, it's that toe point. We'll get that in a second. So go to the original side, ball of foot, and then articulate through to that toe point. We won't be standing on those toes here, but build that strong arch. Back to the ball of the foot, then we'll switch and do a quick balance rise and a gentle landing on the other side. And then from that ball of the foot, let's go back towards the toe tip. Nice and tall, engage glutes on that standing side. Back to the balls of feet, let's do another quick rise and then land on that opposing leg. And this time we'll add a little bit of our knee bend or plie squat into that. Then push your hip through, and when the leg is straight, find another quick balance rise and then calmly land. Incorporate that knee bend here. Push through, one more time of each of a double rise, a calm landing, a nice absorption, spring down, spring up, cramp up. Final one on this side is we'll go double knee bend. Then this time, let's lift both heels off the floor and hold. Safely burn those quads, the muscles, and not those knees, we hope, as then you push your hips through and hold a quick rise. And if that's easy, perhaps look around the room, maintain your breath, maintain the ribs over those hips, and just finish in parallel, returning feet to the floor. Be more squats and hips and leg turns with me, but until we get started with the kettlebell and the pressing capacity, core warm-up with Lauren. Yeah.
Forgot my bell. So let's get to our kettlebell and let's just get used to holding it in a couple different positions. We'll start by standing over top and warming up that hinge and our single arm deadlift here. So with our hinge, we'll hip hinge with one hand or two, pick up that bell, and then place it in one hand beside you low. I like to adjust my stance to a little narrower here, checking in with the shoulder. It's lightly elevated, lightly retracted. Bell is off body. If I was lazy, I'd be leaning that way, but I'm not. So I'm pulling myself up with that far side. Squeezing the cheeks, pushing out on the floor, returning, bringing it to center, placing it down, standing up without, shaking it out, and repeating on the other side. Hip hinge, grip one, cuddle two, zip up, step together. Same checklist applies. Shoulder elevated, lightly retracted. Cage down, pushing down and out on the floor to feel those cheeks. Supporting with that far side of the abs for 3, 2, bring it to center, use your hinge, bell goes down, stand up without. This time, we'll bring the bell into that rack position and think about our pressing today. Hinge, grip with one hand, cuddle, zip up your jacket, bring it into that rack position. Hallmarks of that rack are that vertical forearm, a nice straight wrist, elbow is in tight to the body, blades retracted, cage is down, cheeks are squeezed. Now for a couple seconds here, think about pressing that kettlebell. Press, 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 and then 2 hands tight to the body, place it down. Stand up, shake it out, repeat on the other side. Grip 1, cuddle 2, zip, pull through to rack. Pinkies are driving towards the ceiling. That elbow's in tight, lats engaged, shoulders are not over depressed, but they're down versus hanging up off that trap. Keep the rib cage down, squeeze the cheeks, pretend to press for 3, 2, 2 hands, place it down softly. We'll stand up without, and next time we visit those kettlebells, we're gonna press it once. Over the course of the next couple of weeks, we'll increase our pressing all the way up to that 5 number. Today we'll dabble in that, but let's start easy and continue to build each week.
And from there, we'll go to the bar with feet in our parallel position. Toes pointing full ahead, light tension with a hand grip on your bar or chair apparatus, and take the outside leg to the front. Try to point those toes, but if that's crazy on the tension on the toes, the feet, or those calves, dorsiflex is okay too. But from the hip now, let's do our turnout rotation, kneecap inspired by the hip turning away from the body. Then the turn in rotation, opposite, and moves towards that midline. Repeat one more out, and then one more in, and a final repetition turning out. Now keep that outside hip facing forward, avoiding a twist as we take the leg to the side. Lauren and I are both turned out, so let's collectively turn in. As we turn out, keep the hip forward, avoiding a twist, and we'll do an out rotation and an in rotation, an out rotation, and then an in rotation. And in this class, we do like to inspire that ballet move of turning out and then navigating from the side to the back and then pull the leg through. And like Lauren is, it's turned out. Let's turn that leg back in. We'll do more of those rond de jambes in a second. And until then, let's just switch sides and do the same thing then with the other leg. That standing leg is in parallel, and take the outside leg to the front. Do the turn out. Keep the knees straight. Do that turn in. Safely cramp up those lateral butt cheeks on the hips. Again, we'll turn out, and then we'll turn in, and we'll finish with a turn out rotation. Taking the leg to the side, showing that inseam proudly forward. Hips stay forward as well. And from here, we'll do our turn in. Hips stay forward, extending taller as you get that turn out rotation. And then a turn in. And one final time on the turn out. And try to keep that turn out as we take that leg from the side to the back. Bring it forward. Maintain that turn out. And then just gently close it back to face parallel. Shoulder presses. What's in store, Lauren?
Well, as mentioned, we're going to start with the number 1 and build up to 5 today. So we'll take that bell into the rack position. Hopefully you feel like pressing it, 1 rep each side, and then back to the hips. So hip hinge, grip, full zip to that rack position, butts and abs, and then pull bell, returning it back down, and use your hinge to place it on the floor. Stand up in between, reset, hip hinge grip, pull to rack, up 1, bell pulls down, 2 hands, place it back down, up without, back to the bar.
Whew. If it feels like you can do more presses or more squats and moves at the bar, we're in a good place. Let's take our time and progress nice and slowly, as Lauren said, over the next 7 weeks. Return those feet to the parallel position, and let's do our first set of squats. Knees towards over those toes. Then from there, push those hips forward, cramping up. Repeating again with flat feet for this variation, and then pushing hips through, finishing tall. For the third variation, we'll go flat feet as low as you can get, and then let the heels lift up to get just that little bit lower. And when you stand up, commit to connecting heels first, and then push the hip through. Then carrying on from that turn out exercise, take a leg to the front, turn out in the hip socket, and return it underneath the hips then in our slight V or our turned out stance. Same thing, pull ourselves low, creating our diamond shaped plie, and then push your hips through, finishing tall with stretched knees. Repeating again, 1 more on the flat feet. We're getting down like in a toaster, and then push your hips through again. And for the third and the final in this pose, flat feet to as low as you can, then let the heels come up a little bit at a time to get a little bit lower, and then press heels down and push hips through. Take the leg to the side, same variations here. Pulling efforts, getting down heavy across those toes and those lateral parts of the foot, and push your hips through again to tall. Repeating again, pull yourself low and then through. And everyone's, including Lauren's, probably least favorite or most aggressive version of this. Let's pull ourselves low on our squat and lift a single heel for 3 seconds. Place it down, lift the other one, place it down. Imagine getting lower and repeat that 1 more time. Feeling those groin tensions build, not to pain, but definitely to some tension, and push through, finish tall, and push together. Whew, and rest that away with a shake.
With those hips burning, we'll return to our presses here for the number 2 on each side. So when we press more than 1 in a row, we still pull that bell back to the rack position and hook to push back out of it. So let's use that hinge again to pick it up. pull to start and rack, up to press, inhale to pull it back down, up to press again, bell pulls down, returns to the floor. Using your hinge, stand up, between.
A little loud, I
Loud.
think, Lauren. Thanks there.
Hip
I
hinge,
agree.
same thing, other side. Use your hinge, pick it up, up, 1, inhale, pull down, up, 2, inhale, pull down, 2 hands, bells down, up without. Whew.
Is right. Adding on legs that stay straight and legs that bend, let's take the legs into our first position, or that first turned out stance. Let's bend that inside leg, keeping the outside leg straight, and reach forward. Not right away necessarily, but as a thought, could you lift that front leg? Then push your hip through and return it underneath. Now take that same leg out to the side, reaching, same idea. With a hand on the bar, could you lift? Or even with a hand off the bar, could we lift that leg and push the hip through? Let's repeat that one more time to the front. A squat on that inside leg or a plie, a casual lift, test that balance and strength on that standing leg as we push through, and then final one out to the side, same thing, and breathe. And then we'll finish most sets here going forward with our balances. So take that outside leg and pull it to that ankle or coup de pied position. Keep the hip forward. Inspire that knee to reach towards the side to face your training partner. And then finish nice and tall on 2 feet. Whew, shake and wiggle. And then the same thing on the other side. The inside leg is that squat plie leg. The outside leg, that gesture, stays nice and straight. Bend on the leg, heavy on those metatarsals, the pinky side in particular, and then push through. And then out to the side. Casual lifts with or without that hand on the bar. Hips through, legs assembling together. Then out to the front again, perhaps a casual lift, hip through, leg under, and one more time to the side. Breathe, push hips through, stay strong and tall in that inside leg, pull up to the ankle, push the hips through, rib cage stays down, revisit that checklist every time you move your body, at least in this sphere, and finish nice and tall. And I'm gonna switch sides.
And we're back to those presses. So this is our third set, and as promised, 3 presses here. If we're hitting a number that's too many presses for you today, stick with the previous number and just make them really awesome. Ready? On our first side, inhale to pick up, 1, inhale, pull down, up, 2. Think of that off body tension, so tension through that off arm as you press the bell, pull it back down, use your hinge, place down on the floor. Up without, same thing other side. Hinge, inhale to pull, up, 1, pull it back down, up, 2, pull it back down, and last time, 3, bell comes down, 2 hands, place, up without.
Right on. Now, the first time we'll keep both legs so straight. Then the second one, we'll add a little bit of a knee bend. It's that rond de jambe inspired move from that turned out position. Take that outside leg to the front, keeping the knee so straight throughout. Maintain that turnout as it goes from the front towards the side. Keep the hip forward as it goes from the side to the back. And then straight again as it goes underneath the hip. And this time we'll return it all the way pointing forward. Now push energy in the hips forward, sending the leg to the back. And then once you're out of room at the back, navigate to the side, and from the side to the front, hip through, and finish tall. Now, bend that inside leg and take it to the front with the other. Keep the knee bent and navigate on a bent leg, that leg out to the side. Increase that turnout as allowed as it goes towards the back. Finish tall as the leg comes through and point all the way front to forward. Then when the heels touch on the back phase, then time it so that inside leg bends, and then turn out from the hip and take it from the front to the side and the side to the front, and then push your hip through and underneath. I guess it's back, side, and side and front. And then find that ankle balance. Stay on that flat foot if that's challenging enough for you, or inspired by those ballet balances, let's push the hips through. Light tension on the bar might be required, and hold that releve or balance on those toes for a second longer, and then finish with control, like it's easy. And then we'll switch and do the same thing on their side. A straight leg, the bent leg, and a balance. Nice and tall. Straight leg reaching forward, turn out as it goes from the front to the side. Maintain that turnout as allowed as it goes side to the back. Lead with that inside ankle bone forward, pointing through, and then hips go forward, leg goes to the back. Then turn out of the hip, back, side, side on to the front. Same contribution of the hips to go forward to bring the leg under. Now bend that inside leg, keeping the out one so straight, and then front to side, turning out of course, side to the back. We get tall as the leg comes through and points to front, and then time it so that the heels touch and that inside leg starts to bend, and then from the back all the way to the front, maximizing that turnout, hip forward, leg under, find your balance, breathe, stack, push, revisit that checklist, and only go up as high as you feel confident to maintain. A little bit of a wiggle might happen as I jinx myself there, and with control like Lauren, come back down, finishing tall. Set 4.
All right, our set 4 of presses, which is easy to keep track of because now we're doing 4 presses. So standing over top of that bell, using the hinge to pick it up. Zip, and 1, inhale down. 2, inhale down. 3, and one more time, 4. Bell comes down to the rack when you're finished. Use your hinge, down, up without, give it a little shake and wiggle, and get ready for the other side. Hip hinge to pick up. Zip, up 1. We have cheeks to launch off of, abs to brace our core, that off arm tension to help us on our 4th press on this side, and then bell comes down and places softly on the floor, up without. One more set left of presses today.
Final set on the bar as well. We'll use the bar to mobilize those hips as well as try to strengthen those core and hip flexor muscles. That's right, it's time to lift a leg, hold it in space for time, and casually, like it's easy and we know it's not, return it to the floor. You can work from your parallel position or from that turned out, your call here, with assistance of the bar. Let's pull up to the ankle, we've been there before, and then point out to the front, nice straight legs. The tendency is to lean back because we can get the leg higher, but continue to think ribs over those hips. Bend the knee to the side, and let's just do the same thing then out to the side, nice and tall. One of Lauren's favorite cues, which I love to share as well, is push the hip forward so we're heavier on the front part of that foot. Let's follow with the knee bend. Now take it from the ankle to maybe mid-calf or at that retiré position at the knee. And for one more time on this side, let's just hold it out front, point those toes, test your balance, return the knee bend, keep the knee in the same position. Be careful not to hike as well. Nice level hips because they look and function better. Knee to the side and just finish out nice and tall. More to come in coming weeks that build off that. Let's do the same thing, low and then medium to high height for the second time. In our turned out stance, pull up to the ankle. Slowly unfurl that leg nice and straight, maximize that turnout, hips forward, heavy on the toes, knee side. Repeat to the side, nice and low, maintain the breathing, ribs over hips, again, and find that knee or similar, turn out, point those toes, hips through, knee bend, and final one to the side. Challenge yourself without that balance aid, but feel free to use it. That's why we're here. Knee, finish nice and extended and tall. Last set on the bar. What's Lauren having set for number 5?
5 reps is what I have in store for us. So this is our final set here, making sure we leave that we could do more, and we'll do that next week. So let's get our 5th set and final set out here with inhale to pick up 1, pull down, up 2, inhale down, up 3, butts and abs, up 4, one last time, up 5, bell comes back to the rack, goes down, stays down. As we get more reps, the pace increases a little bit. Don't rush it. Always get to the rack position. Always get full overhead, but don't be dilly-daddling about it either. Same thing other side. Pick it up. Up 1. Pull down. Up 2. Pull down. 3. 4. And 1 more. 5. Good. Nice. Bell comes down. Uses our hinge to place it down. Maybe moves it off to the side just a little bit so we have some more floor space here.
Awesome. And Lauren here will finish taking us through some center movements inspired by our own ballet practice as well. So now without the bar, in open space, some nice weight transfers, balance, core strength. Put it all together. What do you got?
Put it all together. We'll start in our turned out position. Just need to find the not squeaky part. In our slightly turned out position, we'll point a leg to the side. And let's just practice standing here. So we're tall in our standing leg, hip pushing forward. Our inseams are facing forward and our hips are level. Then land toe ball heel. Pull yourself over. So now you're stacked on this butt cheek, which is squeezed. You're driving down, keeping the hip extended, keeping the inseam forward. Then we'll land. This time we'll pull ourselves into that bent legged position and try to lift to hold that leg. Breathing, again, supported on that cheek, and then land, stay the same height as you pull yourself over again. Keep that bent leg supported with the muscles, not just the knee. Hold. Now this time we'll pull across again. As we're here in this bent leg, let's move this long leg so we could point it to the front. And then we could bring it back to the side. And then land and pull across. This whole time your bowl of punch, hips, pelvis are staying nice and stationary. The leg is moving in the socket, but our core is not moving with it. Land, pull across. This time, let's hold the bend. Then let's push down to find a straight. Hold. Then knee bends again. Pulls across. Then pushes. Transfer weight. Hold, bend. Push down, extend. Then knee bends. Pull across. We'll add on. Knee bends. Pushes down. Last one, fanciest one. Could you find a rise in space? So could you find that toe balance? And then control it down. Bend the knee. Pull across. Bend knee first. Then stretch. Then push down to rise and hold for 3, 2, then land. Bend the knee. Pull to center, and then press through to tall, point, close together. Hoo-wee.
Awesome. We did it. Fulfilled that first requirement, showing up, being here live on Thursday mornings. Maybe the title slide said 11, but here we were at 9 a.m.
11-ish.
But we got it.
Oh, yeah.
We're in. And it
Plus or
is
minus 2 hours.
live every Thursday and in the archive thereafter. Twice a week with Bars and Bells, Lauren and myself, Ian. We look forward to sharing more tips for mobility, strength exercises with the kettlebell and our own body weight with you over the next 7-8 weeks.
Make sure you like and subscribe to YouTube. Check out our website where we send out a blog every 2 weeks just about this and that, trying to tie it all into some health and wellness, but there's some roundabout topics there.
Oh, are there?
Well, they're nice.
Okay.
Ian writes it.
Yeah.
I read it. Anyway, until next time,
Take care.
stay strong.
Have a good day.
Well, let's train soon.
Bye-bye.
Goodbye.